Scream 2, however, look, all of the Scream sequels, F. F. Scream 4, have not seen. Screams 2 and 3 needn't have bothered. There's a little bit of novelty in Scream 2, like discussing sequels in horror. Or sequel, like, the rules of horror movies. Like, well, here's how it is in the sequels. Like, the body count's got to be bigger. There's no rule for the third movie in a horror franchise. Fuck off with this. This Silent Hill. I liked the Silent Hill movie quite a bit. And part of that is because, like I said, I am not great with horror video games. I've never actually played through Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2, so I don't have that built-in expectation. But that movie was a lot of fun. I loved the creature effects. I thought it ended. I thought the ending was really weak. But that's a running theme in a lot of horror, so I don't really fault it for that. I would absolutely put that on C. I think it's a good movie. Not great, but good. What are you? Silent Night, Bloody Night? Is that what that says? It is indeed what it says. I've never even heard of this. There's too many Christmas horror movies. It's done. We're done with it. Sinister and Sinister 2, have not seen. Sleepy Hollow? That movie sucks. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. I like Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman. I like that he's got the crazy teeth. Nothing else about that movie was any fun at all. Sleepy Hollow is an F-tier movie, in my opinion. Slither, I quite liked. I'm going to put Slither C. I think it's a C-tier movie. I like it a lot. I had a lot of fun watching it. It's not going to go on anyone's, movies that you have to see before you die, but it's a lot of fun. It's got some great creature effects, a little bit of over-reliance on CGI. Nathan Fillion's a lot of fun in it. He's fun in anything he's in. Smiley, I have not seen Smiley. I know that he did it for the lulz. That's all I know of Smiley. And then that mask is really cool. I wish that mask had been in a cooler movie. I assume. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But from what I've heard, and from everything I've seen, it looks like total dog shit. Snakes on a Plane. I think that is a solid C-tier movie. I really liked Snakes on a Plane. I think if for those of you who are too young to remember, Snakes on a Plane was like the first meme movie. Everybody was really excited when this movie was coming out, ironically. And then the studio kind of got wind of that and made edits to the movie to make it more in line with what people were expecting, more tongue-in-cheek. And I think the end result is a lot of fun. I think it's a blast. It is what it is. It's a movie about snakes on a plane, but it's a fun way to waste an evening. Son of Frankenstein, I have not seen it. Splice, this one's a challenge for me. I think Splice is fine. Splice is a fine movie. It's okay. It's going to be very upsetting for some viewers. Definitely check in on the old content warnings on Splice, because stuff happens. What are you? What are you supposed to be? Well, I see Conrad Veidt's name, which implies to me that this is The Man Who Laughed, which I have not seen. It's the only movie I know of that has Conrad Veidt in it. So, Suspiria and Suspiria. Look, these deserve to be talked about separately, for sure. Suspiria, that's an S-tier movie. The S stands for Suspiria. What can I say? Suspiria is gorgeous. The music is fucking incredible. It sets a tone that in a way that is so, and this is, I know, a very overused term. It's so dreamlike. It's so ethereal. it you know it's a classic for a reason. But you already know that it's fucking Suspiria, and Suspiria 2018. I gotta tell you, I think it's also S tier. I think that movie's fantastic, and I went into that movie about as skeptical as you can get, because like, why the fuck are you remaking Suspiria? Like, Suspiria is so of its time. It is so much like a product of the 70s and like where Italian horror was at that time. This new Suspiria, it blew me away. Like it just kept getting better. And like, it's a very long movie, and it's like, it's very, very slow. So it's not going to be for everybody. But like, the story was amazing. Like, it went places that I wasn't expecting. The performances were out of this world. Like, Tilda Swinton is incredible in this movie. So I S tier for sure, in my opinion. The Babadook. Now, this is a tough one, because the Babadook is fine. I think it has had such an incredible legacy that I feel uncomfortable putting it in C tier. And the excuse I'm going to give to put it in the B tier is that it's so much fun to say Babadook. Who doesn't love to say Babadook? And also, whenever the Babadook shows up in the film Babadook, featuring the Babadook, it plays a sound effect. It's the same sound effect they used in Power Rangers whenever the Dragonzord showed up, and it made me laugh every time. So that's my review of the film, The Babadook. The Invisible Man, have not seen the original. Quite liked the 2020. Was that 2020 or 2019? Anyway, the remake that just came out before coronavirus. Quite like that. Have not seen the original, and that's obviously what this is. The Raven, have not seen it. Read the poem many times. I like the poem. Good poem. Gets my Good Poem Award. The Wolfman, have not seen it. I've seen wolves. I've seen men. I know what there is to say about it. What are you? The Autopsy? Some kind of autopsy. I like movies about autopsies, but I haven't seen this one. So get out of here. See, look how much this dwarfs all the other categories. This is as big as the other categories combined. What you're learning about me is I've seen no movies. The Birds, haven't seen it. The Blob, again, I don't know if this is the 80s Blob or the 50s Blob. Judging by the poster, I think it's the 50s Blob, which is whatever. It is what it is. The 80s Blob is great, but the 50s Blob I would put D tier. It's not terrible, but it's not something I would recommend you rush out and watch. The Boy, have not seen. The Craft. Oh boy. That is a B movie. The Craft, in my opinion. I've liked that movie my whole life, but I would hesitate to put it higher than a B. Although Fairuza Balk in that movie, come on though. You know what I'm talking about. The Fog. This is not one of John Carpenter's strongest movies, but the fact that it's not one of John Carpenter's strongest movies still makes it stronger than most movies. So again, B tier. It's good. Sure. It's The Fog. This is The Fog with some pirates in it. They're ghosts. That's fine. The Gallows, have not seen it. The Grudge. I assume this is Ju-on, not the American remake. I haven't seen the American remake. Ju-on, I gotta say, this is another movie that really suffered from overhyping to me. And I feel almost like I'm being racist putting it this low. But I just did not enjoy watching it. Like, it was fine, I guess. Like, it's not terrible, but it's I don't know. Whatever cultural context made that movie meaningful to people is completely lost on me. The Haunting, have not seen it. House of the Devil, I think is what this is. I feel like House of the Devil is a movie that I didn't like as much as most people. I would put that at a D. The gimmick of it is fun. Like it certainly looks like an older movie. I'll give them that. It's cool that they shot it on film, but no, it just that's all it is. It's a gimmick movie, and the gimmick is well executed, but it's not. I didn't enjoy it. Phantom of the Opera, have not seen it. What are you? Tell me what you are, and I shall rate you. Come on. You don't even have a title, so you don't get a rating. You want a rating in this house? Give me a fucking title. Last House on the Left, I haven't seen it. I know. It's shameful. I'm ashamed of myself. And I'm ashamed of you for being ashamed of me. The Mist, that's a C. That is a good movie. Well, it's not going to be for everybody. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I mean. It's got a very bleak ending. Boris Karloff's The Mummy. If it was Brandon Fraser's The Mummy, then we'd be talking. This, I have not seen. The Others. That's a fucking F. Fuck The Others. That's not a good movie. Why'd you put that on the list? The Purge. The Poige. I think The Purge is probably my least favorite of the Purge movies that have come out, and I don't even really like any of the Purge movies. So I'm going to have to put that in the F tier. I think it's got a great premise that every other movie in the series executes on better than this one, and none of them execute on it particularly well. I think of the Purge movies, the last Purge movie, which is called The First Purge, is the strongest, and the first Purge movie, not to be confused with the movie The First Purge, is the weakest, in my opinion. And I haven't seen the television show. The Ring, that's, in my opinion, A-tier movie. I believe they were talking about the American remake. I've gotten into trouble before because I'm not a big city sophisticate, and I prefer the American remake to the original. But I like that movie scared the shit out of me when I was 19. So I don't know. I have very fond memories of that movie. The Shining. I mean, you gotta give The Shining at least an A, right? It's The Shining for a reason. Say what you will about The Shining, no other movie on this list is The Shining. So it's got that going for it. Signs. That's C. I like Signs. It's definitely got problems. I don't think the ending is as much of a problem as people pretend like it is. Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense that the aliens would be, allergic to water, but like, so what? Aliens aren't real. It's a movie. What is this? Mother of Tears. I have not seen Mother of Tears. The Village. Fuck The Village. That movie's dog shit. That's when I officially fell off the M. Night Shyamalan train. Shyamalan? I'm never quite sure, and I don't want to do the racist joke where people pretend like they can't pronounce his name. The Wicker Man, I know, is like all-time classic. I assume this is the original Wicker Man and not the Nicolas Cage one, but I have to be honest, I haven't seen it. I also haven't seen 13 Ghosts. I haven't seen Tremors. Trick or Treat? I think that's a solid B. Trick or Treat is fun. Once again, I'm assuming this is the anthology film Trick or Treat, not the Gene Simmons vehicle of the same name. But Trick or Treat is a lot of fun. It's made by the same people that made Krampus, although I like Krampus a bit more than Trick or Treat. But it's fun. It's not much more than fun. but it's very fun. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. This movie is really, really funny. And I think it belongs in the B tier. It's not quite like 10 out of 10 A tier material, but it's fantastic, and I think it absolutely deserves a watch. And it plays with like hillbilly horror, which is a personal bugaboo of mine. I find hillbilly horror really, like, it annoys me because it's that's so mean to like people in those areas, and it turns that on its ear in a way that's very satisfying. And the main guy, whose name escapes me, the larger gentleman, the Rubenesque man, he's an actor that I've been following since like his youth and my youth, obviously, because he's older than me. He started out on a show called Breaker High, which was a Canadian teen drama about a high school that's aboard a cruise ship. And they would go to different countries and get into adventures. And he was like alongside a young Ryan Gosling, if you can believe it. They were the two comic relief characters. That Ryan Gosling was the comic relief character on the show along with him. And that is really funny looking back on it, that Ryan Gosling is now like this huge star, and he's, considered so sexy, and he was like the nerd. But he was like, those two characters were the most popular character on the show. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I just wanted an excuse to talk about Breaker High. Dark Web. Haven't seen it, never even heard of it. Van Helsing. That movie disappointed me so. I love a monster mash. I love a graveyard smash. This movie takes all of like the classic Universal monsters and makes them not interesting. It just gives you like the most watered down version of them. I like Van Helsing as a character in the movie. I like the fun like Indiana Jones vibe it's got going for it. But the monsters are just so boring that it's hard to recommend. Velvet Buzzsaw. Haven't seen it. VHS. I think I can't remember if I've seen the original VHS, to be honest. This is the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man. That is a solid A. That's an A. Come on. That movie, that is one of the best so bad it's good movies of all time. The double dream fake out sequence, that made me laugh harder than most comedies. Like, yeah, it's funny. It's funny because it's bad and it makes me feel superior. World War Z, haven't seen it. Hated the book. Absolutely hated the book. So can't imagine I'd enjoy the movie. Zombieland, that's a D. Not great. Like, it's fine. It hasn't aged very well. Final Destination, that one, I feel like that's a solid B. I think the Final Destination movies in general are underrated, and Final Destination 1 is one of the best Final Destination movies. I think Final Destination 2 is the best one, but Final Destination 1 is still like, it's the only one that takes the premise seriously, and I think the premise can work that way, and it's fun to see the way that someone tries to make this rather than just like a kill spectacle with someone trying to make it actually frightening. And the scene in the bathtub where the guy gets choked out and you see the blood vessels break in his eye, I'm like, oh, I still think about that. That's a fun movie. Salem's Lot, I have not seen. What are you? Are you the Taking of Deborah Logan? Is that what you are? What are you? Dark Days? Is that what that said? Hold on, folks. Is this looks like the cover of 30 Days of Night? Is this like a direct-to-video sequel to 30 Days of Night? I have not seen it. I have not seen The Lost Boys either. That one I'm much more likely to watch. That one's on the list. Coraline. It's a good movie. I don't know if it's really a horror movie. It's a dark fantasy more so than a horror. But it's a B. I like Coraline. What are you? I'm so sorry that I have to keep zooming in. What are you supposed to be? Is this Alien? I thought we already did Alien. We already did you, Alien. Is this one of the other aliens? Like Alien 4? Is there Alien 4? Did they make an Alien 4? Oh, this is the one of the prequel aliens, like Alien, like after Prometheus. I haven't seen it. Aliens. I think I enjoy Aliens. It's a B. I'm sorry. I know this is sacrilegious to a lot of people. It's fine. I much prefer Terminator 2 in terms of James Cameron action movies, if I'm being honest with you. But you know, it's being in the same company as Terminator 2 is not a bad place to be. What is this? I wish the fucking text was easier. You know what? Here, hey, tiermaker.com. Here's a feature. When I hover over an image, let there be alt text that tells me what that option is. Okay? So we don't have to keep doing this. I know tiermaker.com watches my videos. They're always commenting and ranking them. This is another Annabelle movie. Get out of here. And you too, another Annabelle movie. A Quiet Place? That movie fucking sucks. Fuck A Quiet Place. That just insulting on every level. Just the logic of the story made no sense, which I can move past if the characters are well developed and fleshed out, and I give even the slightest shit about the world. But this movie thinks you're so dumb that it, like that classic scene in the beginning where it's got like the dry erase board with all the information you need to know about the monsters, as though you couldn't figure it out by the fact that everybody's being quiet, that they operate by sound. Like it's an insult to one's intelligence, and it was not nearly complicated enough to warrant that insult. As Above, So Below. I have not seen it. Basket Case. Come on, you had to know this was coming. That's right. I'm putting Basket Case in the S tier. I think that Basket Case is a better movie than Alien. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Please don't unsubscribe. The Black Cat. Have not seen it. Black Christmas. I think the original Black Christmas, not to be confused with Black Christmas or Black Christmas, that's an A-tier movie. I had a great time watching Black Christmas. I watched it quite recently, so I know this for a fact. Yeah, and nothing bad to say about it. I loved the way that the killer would call and taunt his victims. It was genuinely creepy, and I think the performances were great. I think it was, surprisingly not hateful of women. Black Swan, haven't seen it. The Blair Witch Project. I did not like the Blair Witch Project, and I still don't. This is tough. C or D for sure. It's definitely not F. Like it's not horrible, but I definitely wouldn't put it above a C. I feel like if I'm going to put House of the Devil here, I should put The Blair Witch here. It's just like, there's nothing to it. There's something to be said for minimalism in film, but it's a bit shy of, it shoots past minimalism and becomes just kind of padded. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let's be honest with ourselves. That is a D movie. I loved it as a kid. The TV series is obviously far better, but it's not great. I mean, come on. It's only really memorable for having spawned a far more popular television adaptation. And even the television adaptation pretended like the movie never happened. So. And I know people are going to say in the comments now, I know that the show operates from the original script, the unfilmed script of the movie. It's not important. If you thought that was important, don't. Go smoke some weed. Cannibal Holocaust? I have not seen it, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to watch them eat a turtle. I'm sorry. Child's Play? It's a B. Child's Play's good. It's fine. Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange is not a horror movie. I'm sorry. That's going straight to the bottom. The Cloverfield Paradox. Have not watched it. Probably not gonna. Have not heard good things. Conjuring 2. Haven't seen it. I don't like those James Wan spooky face movies. Don't Breathe. This movie, like, it's very tense, and then it really falls apart in the ending where it's like needlessly mean-spirited and gross. I would put that in a D. King Kong. I don't think I've ever watched King Kong, come to think of it. The Human Centipede. Have not watched it. It involves more poop eating than a movie that I would typically watch. I'm not saying none, but this one has too much. Drag Me to Hell, and this is going to make a lot of people mad. I have not seen Drag Me to Hell. It's one of those movies that came out, and I kept meaning to watch it, and it's always on my Netflix to watch list, and I've just never gotten around to it. Creep, I have not seen Creep. A Tale of Two Sisters, sorry, I have not seen it. I know it's supposed to be really good. I will watch it eventually, but I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. I think this is Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko is a D. That movie's not great. Sorry. I know. Look, I'm from the prime Donnie Darko generation, okay? I remember what that movie meant to people. That movie's not great. Go back and watch it. It is mostly nonsense that they expect you to, like, go read a bunch of, like, diary entries in the DVD extras to understand. And once you understand it, you realize it really wasn't worth the effort. Carnival of Souls, haven't seen it. Brightburn, have not seen it. And that movie has got, like, some eugenics themes that I'm a little uncomfortable with. I might see it just so I can talk about those. That could be nice. Night of the Living Dead, look. That movie is a solid A. Night of the Living Dead is fantastic. It redefined the genre. It pushed the envelope in ways that no movie had done before. And I think that its legacy, like, is unparalleled. And you know, I've seen this movie so many times. Like and it, for what it is, like, there's just nothing else quite like it. Night of the Living Dead is very few movies have had an effect on the film industry, let alone the horror industry, as Night of the Living Dead. And it gave us what we now think of as zombies, for good or for ill. Dracula's Daughter, haven't seen it. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, I haven't seen it. Eraserhead, I have not seen that movie, is the thing. The 50s Invasion of the Body Snatchers, well, the thing about that one is that I have not seen it. Get Out, that one I've seen. Guess what, everybody? Surprising no one. That, S tier. Get Out is fantastic. It is a brilliant idea that is done perfectly. In the hands of a lesser director, it could have come across as silly or didactic. Get Out is the only movie that, it balances having something really important and kind of dark to say while still being like a crowd-pleasing and genuinely frightening movie, with, like, fun characters that you root for the whole time. Outstanding performances, just, it's fucking Get Out. It was a huge success for a reason. Like, who would have expected that the guy from Key and Peele could have that in him, before this movie? And yeah, no, Get Out is fantastic. I like Get Out more than Us, but I like them both a lot. I say that because I don't think Us is on this list. And people would ask. If it were, I would put it B tier. I would put Us in the B tier for sure. Ghost Stories, also in the B tier. Look, that movie is divisive. I quite like Ghost Stories. A lot of people didn't like the ending. A lot of people think that the ending is a bit of a cop-out. I don't. But I don't really want to explain why because it would be a huge spoiler. I think Ghost Stories is fantastic. One of the best anthology horror movies to come out in a long time. It took me a long time to get that word out of my brain. Godzilla 1998. Look, it's really insulting that you scroll past all of these great movies I haven't seen, and I have seen this one because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. And it belongs in F. It's a terrible movie. But I'm bumping it up to D, and here's why. Because the soundtrack is great. The soundtrack is the album of my youth. I love the soundtrack to that movie. Now, Godzilla 2014? That movie is F. That movie is terrible. That movie has its defenders, but just because something is slow and boring doesn't mean that it has something to say. This movie does not. It tries very desperately to, but it is without merit, in my opinion. Just a complete waste of time for everyone involved. I was so mad when I watched that movie because I think there's something cool about the way that it builds up Godzilla in theory. Like you never see him, you just kind of see the aftermath. I think that's done better in the original Gojira because there is a payoff in that movie where you do get to see him and it does feel impactful. Not so much in this one. Grave Encounters 2 is very strange to be on this list. I have not seen Grave Encounters 2. I've seen Grave Encounters, and I liked it. I have not seen Grave Encounters 2. I don't really know why that's there. I don't think that's the type of movie most people would think of when they think of like the best horror movies of all time. Gremlins. Only barely a horror movie, but it's a good children's horror movie. I would put that A or B? A. Gremlins is an A. I think much like Poltergeist, maybe for even a bit younger than Poltergeist, Gremlins is a good like children's horror movie. Halloween, look, come on. What can I say? That's an S tier movie, for sure. You know how I feel about Halloween. Halloween is the template by which like every slasher since has lived in the shadow of. Like this movie is about as close to perfect as it gets. It's Halloween. You know this. Hereditary, I think, is also S tier. I know, 2 S tiers right in a row. But Hereditary is a modern classic. I think Hereditary will go on to be like considered one of the best horror movies of all time. I stand by that. I was blown away by this movie. I knew I would enjoy it. I did not expect to enjoy it to the amount that I did. This is one of the very few movies in recent history that's actually frightened me. That is not an easy thing to do in a movie anymore. This one did it. And it beyond that, it's also like a very touching story. Touching is maybe not the right word. A very thoughtful story on the way we process trauma and grief. Hostel. Look, it's my favorite Eli Roth movie, I guess. Fuck Eli Roth. Hostel's fine. It's fine. It has a really bad reputation as like torture porn. Not a lot of that in the movie, to be honest. Not in the original anyway. I haven't seen the sequels. This is Hush. I knew Hush would be here somewhere. Hush, that's a B movie if there's ever been one. It's perfectly serviceable. Nothing really wrong with it. Good movie. Would recommend it to pretty much anybody. But it's not like it's not, 10 out of 10. It's not one of the best movies. Like, it does not belong in the A tier. it's comfortable in the B tier. Watership Down is not a horror movie, no matter how much it upset you as a child. Watership Down is a fantasy movie. It's a fun little movie about rabbits that is grim and horrible. And I like it quite a bit. I love the animation style, but it's not horror. It does not belong on this list. What are you? Inferno? Never heard of you. Get out of here. Stephen King's It? Have not seen Stephen King's It. Read the book, didn't like it. Did not see the new one either. Did not see Legion. Did not see 9. Mandy? No surprise here. Look, that's an S tier movie. Mandy is fucking outstanding. And I know I've said this a few times, but like to really get into my S tier, it has to be the type of movie that there's nothing else quite like. And Mandy is that in spades. Mandy is the closest thing you're going to get to a psychedelic experience on film. And it puts you in a mind frame that I don't think I've ever been in watching a movie. It is beautiful. It is haunting. It is exhilarating. It's just, I wanted it to, I wanted the neuralizer from Men in Black so that I could erase my memories of watching it and watch it again. Mark of the Vampire. I have not seen that. I have not seen Misery. I have not seen Mother. I have seen Cabin Fever. It's an Eli Roth movie. Fuck Eli Roth. Also, the movie's terrible, except for the part where the kid yells pancakes and does a roundhouse kick. It Follows. We're getting a lot of F's and a lot of S's right now, but look, I love It Follows. It is a very silly premise, executed perfectly. The soundtrack is phenomenal. I love the look of the movie. I love the ambiguous timeline of the movie. I think it conveys its message very well. Especially for a movie about a sexually transmitted ghost, which is admittedly a very silly premise. I don't know what this is, but I have not seen it. I have not seen Orphan. I have not seen Gerald's Game. I have seen The Perfection. I'm going to give that a solid B. The Perfection's very good. Be very mindful of the content warnings you find for that movie because it's going to be upsetting to some viewers. Very good movie. This is the type of movie where unless you have specific trauma triggers, probably don't look into it going in. Part of the fun of this movie is the way that the story twists around itself in a lot of ways that you won't expect if you don't look into it. But just keep that in mind. It's going to be upsetting to some viewers for sure. Planet Terror, I think, is dog shit. I hate this movie. I liked Grindhouse in general, but I don't feel like... oh my God, what's his name? Rodriguez. What's his first name? I don't remember. Tell me in the comments. He went too far with the joke. He was too tongue-in-cheek, and it just didn't work. Like, Quentin Tarantino got it. His movie is gross in hindsight, but it's still really compelling movie. And like all the trailers were fun because the joke only lasts like a minute and it doesn't wear out its welcome. Planet Terror is like, I don't know, what was that, like 50 minutes? It's just like, I get it. Grindhouse movies are silly. Okay, fine. It's not very good. I don't like it. Eight-Legged Freaks, too many spiders. Never watched it. Young Frankenstein? I mean, I like it, I guess. I don't like it as much as most people do. Sleepaway Camp. Now you're putting me in a position. I think Sleepaway Camp is a B. But I think given the ending, we have to put it in C. I think that knocks it down an entire tier. I love Sleepaway Camp. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. I know that people have told me in the comments of my previous video that there's an effort to reclaim Sleepaway Camp in the trans community. But it's still like it's distasteful in the end, I feel. And for that reason, I don't feel I can put it in the B tier in a good conscience. An American Werewolf in London. That is an A tier movie. American Werewolf in London is great. John Landis is not. Fuck John Landis. But This is a great movie. Great practical effects. Really funny. Great tone. The movie looks beautiful. Just all around, a lot of fun. Has some of the, best werewolf transformations in the biz, baby. Scarecrow? I haven't seen it. Never heard of it. I think it's about an evil scarecrow. Pan's Labyrinth? What can I say? That's an A tier, baby. That's a good movie. I like Del Toro. I like him a lot. I like his movies. And Pan's Labyrinth is one of his better movies. And that's saying something, I think. Raw, I have not seen. I've heard it's quite good. I would like to see it. Wreck, I think is quite good. I think the ending to Wreck is like so well executed. And in general, like it's a good movie. It stretches its conceit a little thin, but it's a lot of fun. Just don't expect a meditation on the human condition. Split, I don't think it's very good. I found the ending laughable when it turns out that this isn't Split. What have I done? This is Split. I don't know what this is, but I haven't seen any Jekyll and Hyde movies, so I guess that goes there. Split. When it turns out that Split from the movie Split is in the Unbreakable world, I groaned so hard. Like it completely took me out of the movie. Like the whole third act where it turns out, and I'm just gonna fucking spoil Split for you. Turns out that his beast persona, because he's this guy with dissociative identity disorder, and one of the disorders is like an evil monster serial killer. Turns out it believes that if it eats enough babysitters, it'll get superpowers. Turns out it's right. The movie is weirdly pro-eating teenage girls, which I am against in general. So that was a weird tack to take for the movie. Anyway, it's just I thought it was good if a little, maybe not a little not too kind to people with dissociative identity disorder up until that point, and after that point, I was like, fuck this whole thing. The Bye Bye Man, I have not seen because it's called The Bye Bye Man. And can I point out how fun it is that Eraserhead and Bye Bye Man? Look at how this lines up. That's fun. The Canary, I have not seen. I would like to know how you make a canary frightening, though. And apologies from how I'm going to pronounce this. La Luorna, I believe it's how it's pronounced. I have not seen it, although I find the legend it's based on quite scary. I've heard the movie's not great. The Forest, I don't know why this is here. I don't think this belongs here. I think that is just a really forgettable movie. And for that to be, in the consideration for best horror movies is very strange to me. The Nun, I have not seen. Once again, that's a spooky boo-boo face movie. I have no interest. I haven't seen this version of Phantom of the Opera either. Silence of the Lambs, it's a C. It's fine. Anthony Hopkins gives a good performance. Beyond that, it's like, okay. It's a thriller. It's a pot boiler. I get it. I think Hannibal, the TV series, far superior, in my opinion. One of the best TV series of all time. The Sixth Sense. In addition to being difficult to say, I would put that a solid B. I think The Sixth Sense is a very good movie. From back before M. Night Shyamalan or what have you, before he became a bad filmmaker who exclusively made bad movies. The Thing. Do I even need to say it? F tier. This movie's terrible. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, this is S tier. This is an S tier movie. No doubt. Look, I don't need to tell you about The Thing. The Thing has the best practical effects of all time. It's got outstanding performances from Kurt Russell and Keith David. It's John Carpenter at the height of his career. It's got that great score by Ennio Morricone. It's just a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen The Thing, then why the fuck are you watching this? Go watch The Thing instead. What are you? What are you? The Tommy Knockers? I have not seen the Tommy Knockers. Wait a minute. This is Underworld? I already put Underworld on here somewhere. I'm confused. Okay, we'll get to it. That's fine. Tooth Fairy. Haven't seen it. The Vivitch. And look, everybody, stop correcting me on this, okay? Look. I'll show you. I'll show you right here. That's 2 V's. The Vivitch, okay? It's settled. That's how that's pronounced. I don't know why people are telling me to call it something else. I don't know what else it would be called. It's the Vivitch. The issue is put to bed, as far as I'm concerned. That is probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And it has earned its place in the S tier. I think it is phenomenal. It is the best, or at least to me, the most convincing period drama I've ever seen. The fact that it's all spoken in a period accurate dialect, as far as I can tell. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scholar. I don't know these things. I don't know of such things. The fact that it's all lit with natural light, like it's you know, and on top of that, like just the performances, the story, the music, like everything about it, it so perfectly captures the tone it's going for. And it's so genuinely frightening. The Vivitch is great. If you haven't seen it, I almost called it something different. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but if you haven't seen it, it's up there. But a lot of people are going to find it too slow and boring. Those people, not worth your time. If you go home with somebody and you look at their shelf and they have a lot of movies that don't have the Vivitch, and you ask them why and they say it's slow and boring, don't sleep with them. Truth or Dare? Haven't seen it. I dare you to get me to watch it. It won't happen. Underworld. The real Underworld. F. What is the other thing that I called Underworld? What is this then? This looks like a Underworld. Is that Dark City? Am I just going to think every movie is Dark City? Dark City is a pretty good movie. What is this? Oh, it's that movie about the guy in the... This looked like a... Okay. It's Frozen, the horror Frozen, not the Disney film. This looked like a person jumping with their cape behind them to me, but they're hanging off a ski lift. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's quite good, but it's impossible to find now because a far more popular movie with the same name displaced it. Unfriended. Haven't seen it. I'm not sure I've seen any of the remaining movies, to be honest, so we might be done here. That's right, I haven't seen Seven, which I also wouldn't consider a horror movie. It is a thriller with macabre elements. Oh, Veronica. I've seen Veronica. And You're Next. I have not seen Winchester. Okay, so let's just get all of these out of here. Now, from here on, I don't think they're horror movies, except for this one, which I don't know what it is. Which it could very well be a horror movie. I don't know. So we're in the home stretch. I haven't seen Winchester either. Veronica, I think, B. That's a very good movie. Very well done. It's about a young girl that her and her friends... It's allegedly based on a true story. I don't know to what degree that is actually the case. But it's about this group of young girls who use a Ouija board. And they invite a real monster, a real demon from the Ouija world into their world. But it's done very well. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's on Netflix. At least it is in Canada. So give it a shot. You're Next. It's really weird to end. This feels really anticlimactic to end on You're Next. But I love You're Next. I think it's an A tier movie. I do. I think that You're Next is a lot of fun. I think it bucks a lot of slasher conventions in a way that they were due to be bucked. And I think I think for that it deserves its place in the A category. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, You're Next is great. You know what surprises me? Friday the 13th, not here. Friday the 13th Part 2 is here. Friday the 13th is not. And the original Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2 are here, but Friday the 13th, just Part 2. Very strange. But for the record, Part 1 would go in the same place because I don't consider any of the Friday the 13th movies before like Part 5 to be any fun at all, to be honest. So that's my tier list. I hope you enjoyed watching me make that. I did it for a much longer than I thought I would. So that's 2 videos, baby. I'm going to split it into 2, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm going to milk it for everything it's worth. Thank you for watching. I know this isn't the type of content that you normally come here for, but I didn't want to leave you without something to watch at least. And, I hope you had fun doing this. I had fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching. But yeah, let me know how mad you are on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments. Because nobody who's watched this video isn't mad. Everybody's mad. I just want to know the degree to which you're mad. And whether or not I have to apologize and for what specifically. But again, the amount of movies I haven't seen is truly staggering. I am a hack and a fraud, and I apologize for that. And have yourselves a lovely little day.